Congratulations for your keynote on the second day. Welcome here.
Right, it's been a pleasure.
How are you feeling?
I'm all right now.
There was a lot of people concerning the second day here.
I believe last night's party went on quite late, so I'm grateful for everyone that turned up.
Let's talk about your conference, Steve. Um, I remember you said something about that fast concerning TDD is not better.
Well, the point I was trying to make was that you see teams that are where they become very obsessed with shipping features as fast as possible, but without necessarily thinking about what happens to them when they go into production. And that's why I was saying you need to think about the end-to-end life cycle. So it's not just enough to, well, it's a start to build a feature, but the next part is you have to support it, it has to work, and all that kind of stuff. And if you only measure features delivered into production rather than what the consequences of that delivery is, that's not the whole, you're not getting the whole picture. So that's the idea behind that. It may be better to be more careful going through, because if you look at the whole life cycle, it's actually quicker.
You mentioned also several skills, several things that tests. Well, why are so important testing for this TDD? Which are those characteristics you mentioned?
You mean what? So one of the things I like is that it's steady and incremental. So I'm always making progress. It's nice to get this constant positive reinforcement, because what you hope on when it's going well is you don't drop into this, you don't lose control, where you drop into this thing you don't know, no idea what's going on. You're always just this far from a working test, or from a working system rather. I like the fact it makes me stop to think about what I'm going to do before I jump in and do it, and often that act of writing down what's going to happen next will flush out things I hadn't thought of, or we've thought of, whoever it is that's working on the thing. Things should break when they're supposed to. A lot of people some people get into, teams get into a situation where they make a little change and everything breaks, and the response is to turn it all off. Actually, the test might be doing their job, which is explaining that you have dependencies in your design that shouldn't be there. And the thing to do is step back and think about what's the real problem here. And maybe the test needs fixing, maybe the code needs fixing, who knows. And then the last thing is I find when I do this properly, is that I get surprising designs I hadn't thought of, even for stuff I've done repeatedly. Sometimes it just goes in a different direction. It takes you into somewhere you hadn't previously seen. And if it's going really well, you might get a concept appear in the test that drifts into production, or even back into the business. That doesn't happen very often, but it's really nice when that happens.
I have a question for you, a special question, Steve. I was thinking about a team, a random team. You think each member of the team should compulsory do TDD, or more like a free option to everyone?
That's always difficult. There's a story that Alistair Coburn tells about, he knew someone on the team where every morning he'd turn up and somebody had changed something and broken the code. So what he did is surrounded his code with tests, so that when he turned up in the morning, he could point at somebody else rather than having to, find out himself. I think it's better. To me, it's better if you're doing it than if you're not doing it. If you're the only one in a group, it's a start, but it can be difficult. But I think it's one of the things when you view the system as a whole, including the development organization, it's one of the things where when you put everything together, you get a much more powerful effect than doing it on your own. So it's always worth doing. If nothing else, you can do it on your own stuff. But when you start to multiply everything together, then it really starts to fly.
Well, thank you for this keynote, and thank you for your time for this interview, Steve.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.